There's so much fear around AI. There's about a 41% gap in the perception of AI. Leaders think it's going to be the greatest thing. Employees, not so much. 54% of Americans say they think they're going to be replaced by it. 38% of Z generation have admitted to trying to sabotage AI within the company. So 85% of it's not getting implemented according to Microsoft. So we looked at that and said, how do we come, like we call the company the master key. You work with somebody like Mark Benioff and you get Agent Force, but you need somebody who's going to help you to integrate it and really get people to actually apply it. And so we found some really cool strategies to get people to not be replaced by AI, but really replace the tasks that make them crazy, the drudgery tasks, and people are more than happy to do that.
How can a person beat AI? All I hear about, I've heard it here too, oh, AI is taking jobs. Like, if I'm a human being, how can I keep my job in the age of AI?
You're not going to be replaced by an AI, you're going to be replaced by someone who knows use AI, unless your job is really rote, obviously. And there's going to be a lot of people who have to reskill. We've actually formed a separate company just to help people do that, because a mass number of people are going to need to do that. If you're a software engineer right now, there's no future unless you become an AI engineer. There's definitely an opportunity there, or cyber in that area. If you're a truck driver, obviously self-driving trucks are here now. It's only going to be a matter of time. Who's going to hire a truck driver to work 8 hours a day when I can drive a truck 24 hours a day and there's no health insurance and depreciate the asset? So the jobs that are available to them are like electricians now. And you can train somebody in 18 months and they make $85,000 instead of $65,000, and at the peak they make $250,000. Nurses, we need 500,000 nurses right now.
That's a mind-boggling number.
It's 500,000 electricians, 500,000 nurses. Just think of that alone. So we're in the business of helping that. We're helping companies basically bring AI in, but do it at an agentic level where there's no fear. It's part of the process is we analyze what they've done in the past. We call it déjà vu. What did you do in the past that you're going to do in the future? And we look for what's robotic, what is a waste of your time. And then we don't even call them agents, we call them assistants. Because agents like FBI agent, it's like Agent Smith, right? And we don't make them humans, they're like little miniature little creatures, and that you get 200 or 300 of them, or 3 of them, or 12 of them that do these tasks for you. And now you're freed up to do what really matters in your job. And most people are really responding incredibly well to that.
I told you this, I think, 2 years ago when I last saw you. I saw you on my last screen for that Bon Jovi special you did, but I physically saw you 2 years ago, and I told you, I read all your books, your audio books, and changed the arc of my career earlier on. What do you tell those people that are worried about this age of AI, and they don't know where to go, they don't know how to get the skills they need to compete? Like, how could they get started?
I think you have to call it tight. What I mean by that is you got to be as honest as you can with yourself and take a look at, is my job something that AI can take, or is my job something that if I get good at AI will be more in demand? If it's one that's truly going to be taken, like some of the jobs I described, then you're going to have to reskill now. And what's really nice is there's a lot of companies now that are understanding this, and they're providing capital for you to do that reskilling rather than just get rid of you. And I think it's going to be a bigger issue. In the next 24 months, I think the government's going to have to intervene if companies really displace. Now, if companies really empower, but it's going to be both. We all know it's going to be both.
Basic income, is that what happens to all these displaced workers?
Well, that's my exact point. We have to retool them, but UBI is not going to work long term, I would argue, because it'll never be enough money. And number two, there's no purpose. If you just get money and sit home and do nothing, young people get violent, let's be honest, right? You can look at history when many jobs get destroyed. So I think we got to have vision as leaders and tell people the truth and then show them where the opportunities are. And it's important for every leader to say, what are these people that I'm letting go? Where are they going to go? Not just I'm going to give them 4 months worth of severance, right?
What are your, I've read so many stories about you, but data center. I see the story on the internet that you invested in a data center early on.
Yeah, I bought a power plant.
Bought a power plant?
Yes, in West Virginia. It's called Pleasance Power Plant. We provide 8% of the energy for the state, but it's a coal power plant. I want to convert it to hydrogen. And so we've developed some technology, but right now I'm partnering with the Hunt brothers. It looks like we're going to convert actually to get more jobs, more opportunity, and do a data center right next to us there. But we're going to expand the size of the plant, and we're going to do it more with natural gas at this point. The hydrogen still isn't there yet.
What does your AI portfolio look like? Are you still leaning toward like power plants? Are you investing in like AI stocks? Like what does it look like for you?
Well, power data centers, of course, is something I'm very interested in. But I'm also invested in the companies that are using AI, and I'm also working to actually bring agentic into companies. So I have 3 different levels: very personal, more of a corporate side, and then more of the actual infrastructure itself.
Who's doing a great job now in AI, CEO-wise?
Oh my gosh, I think Anthropic, Dario is a standout in this area, and I think he's going to be one of the few profitable ones potentially in the near future in the way he operates, because he really thinks about how we're really going to use this. And I think he's he's taken a big jump, I think, over ChatGPT and what we've seen happening in that area.
What makes this generation of leaders different? I look at Dario, I look at Sam Altman. I grew up with Bill Gates, and things that he created too.
Yes.
Well, how is this generation different, you think? Or are
Well,
they
I think
different?
I don't know if they're different. I just think they have different tools, and they're able to operate more rapidly. I think the most important thing, though, is not to lose the human side. And Mark Benioff, a mutual friend of both of ours, and Mark is one of those guys that has taken technology and run it through the roof. Obviously people are worried the Sassopolis, what's happening right now, but Mark's going to do just fine. He's going to do fine. Right? He knows what he's going to do. He's got $74 billion worth of contracts. He knows how to adapt. But what's great about Mark is he's completely focused on the people still. Like even when he brought AI in, he figured, okay, now how can I upscale those people? I mean, look, ATMs years ago were supposed to wipe out, tellers. But what happened is you got 47% more banks, and the tellers are upscaled into selling processes and meeting customers, not just taking their money. So I think it's not all gloom and doom, but it's going to happen so fast. That's what's different about any other time. We were all farmers, 150 years ago, 90% of the population. Now it's 3%. We cover the whole world. But we had a lot of time to make those changes. That's why we own it ourselves as individuals, leaders, and people to say, let's call it tight. I call it the 36-month countdown, because in 36 months or less, we're going to have AGI, there's zero question. In 36 months or less, I was just with Mr. Cohen, who's the vice chairman of IBM. He was at my house, we had a dinner, and I said, who's winning AI? Is it us or China? He goes, don't worry about that. He goes, worry about quantum. He said, because whoever gets quantum can basically wipe out the other side. You don't have to worry about nuclear bombs. You get their codes, you can destroy them where they are. I said, when are we going to have that? He goes, less than 36 months.
That's a big change.
And I mean, we're going to see more change in the next 3 to 10 years than has happened in human lifespan in any time in human history. And we're talking about it like, well, it's coming. But we can't control everything, but we can anticipate. Leaders are the people that anticipate. Losers react. And by the time you react, it's too late.
Tony, you know damn near everyone in the C-suite. I'm convinced of that. But what are they telling you privately? What are they worried about right now? There's so much going on in the world. Like, what are they fearful of?
There are a lot of them fearful of different things from the company, but I think what they're all most concerned about is they don't know what's happening in the future, and it's hard for them to acknowledge that. We have to acknowledge we don't know for sure. But then you got to not just leave it with I don't know, you got to leave it to here's our hypothesis. This is how we're going to move forward. This is what we're going to attempt to do to take it to the next level. I was just in a session with a group of CEOs on a private session, and everybody was talking about, what are we going to do because this is happening so fast. And I think there are a lot of CEOs, I'm sure you've seen, that are starting to retire because they just don't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
And then there's
their
other
skill sets
people
have changed.
Completely changed. But the most important skill set is still human beings. I mean, I'm fortunate to own little pieces of a lot of sports teams, and on sports, one of the few places in the world you look at the balance sheet and you see human capital as a sports team. I think today it's even more important. You look at the right human capital in a company who knows how to use AI at a high level, that company's value goes through the roof. That's why they want to pay a fortune for somebody in that area. So I think we still have to think about the human side, or we're gonna have lots of successful businesses, and we're not gonna have much of an economy, because our economy is driven by spending. Your spending is someone else's income. Yeah. If we don't have enough jobs, that affects everybody's business.
Is it a good time for a CEO to be aggressive or more cautious? I've seen, look, just as we sit here today, Coinbase just laid off, I think, 14% of its workforce. Yes. I mean, this is jarring news from a well-known company that is dominating its field. Yes. Like, what is a CEO to do?
Well, I think they've got to be as aggressive as possible and as honest as possible. But I think the honesty comes first, and we're not having a lot of that. I mean, we'll look at Square, who's kind of started this, right? 40% of the workforce, like that. But they were up 24% from the year before, and then the market rewarded them that day with a 25% increase in their stock. So that's not a good, but I don't know, maybe that was more, quite frankly, they overbuilt during COVID and they used it. Some people are using it more as an excuse. But there's going to be more displacement, and that's why I think we're going to need a government-private partnerships. I'm working on some myself to really reskill a mass number of people, because if you don't do it, what's the end of this? The end of this is we got more efficient companies, but you don't have as many employees, they don't have income, the economy then hurts, everybody hurts. Yeah. So we got to think a little bit more long term when everybody's so caught up in the moment. But we got to know we got 36 months or less to get it done.
Yeah. Lastly, what's your view on the economy?
Well, I think the economy's actually got a great deal of strength to it. I think there's uncertainty right now because of the war and because of the price of oil. But I think that's going to end at some point here in the relatively near future. I think the oil prices will adjust and you'll see things going. But the uncertainty is not going to go away. I think we're going to have more volatility because of the uncertainty, because no one knows what's the next breakthrough. Look, we had ever since the days I was Ray Kurzweil the other day. I've known him for 25 years, and he's like, there were punch cards, and then we had these little tubes, and then we had transistors, and it's always gone Moore's law. Not now. Yeah. Now every 6 months we're seeing tenfold of AI, 20-fold in a year. Not every 2 years doubling and cutting in half. This is like nothing in human history. So I think we just have to be aware of it. We can't know exactly where it is, but we still have to make your bet on where you're going to go in the future. If you sit still, you're going to get run over.
When's your next investing book coming out? I like the last one. It was good. You had everybody, like Ray Dalio in there, you had Mark Benioff, everybody in there. All like, oh geez, it was phenomenal.
Well, they're doing the paperbacks coming out in September, so we're doing that next.
All right, Tony, good to see you. You always make time for Yahoo Finance. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it.